You can actually choose people who are on higher levels than you. And the reason you would want to do that, people who are like 7-figure, 8-figure entrepreneurs, people that have been in the industry 10, 20, 30 years and are very, very successful at what they're doing, is because you want to learn from them. Guys, what's going on? It's Tolu, and I want to tell you about the power of podcasting. I've made probably close to $250,000, but this was all through the power of podcasting, right? Of course, I do other things like webinars and stuff like that, but the podcast is such a great way to add high ticket clients to your agency, to your program, to your business. The reason why I really recommend this strongly for anybody, no matter what position they're in, is so many different reasons. One is that you build valuable connections with your target audience. So when I podcast, I don't just go after anybody, right? I go after a certain select of people, a group, a niche, a target. So that way, when I speak to them, things happen naturally. Either we do business or we have some kind of referral partnership. They become a client, something happens, right? I've been invited to conferences. I've had an investor who's a multi-millionaire purchase 20% of my business. I've had all kinds of different things happen as a result of me podcasting, just putting myself out there, right? And guys, I want you to go ahead and start doing the same thing. Doesn't matter if you're a consultant, if you're a coach, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're an agency owner. You literally can use the power of a network effect in terms of like just choosing your targets carefully. And the thing about podcasting is you want to take action with this now. And the reason why is because when you get that guest, when you get that individual on your podcast, it will literally change the trajectory of your business as time goes on. You begin to connect with power players, people who are influential, people that can help you get to the next level. But then you begin to observe what made these people successful in their lives and the things that they did, how they made good decisions that helped them get to where they are. If you're likable and you really honor them, and what I mean by honor is, ask them questions that get them to think deep about life, and ask them emotional questions that stir up emotion, and also talk about questions that kind of like applaud them, on their accomplishments that they've been able to do so far, right? And the reason why is because whenever you're doing a podcast and you invite a guest, you want that guest to feel honored. You're putting them up on this pedestal and you're saying, hey world, check this person out. I'm going to be asking them some questions, and at the end, right, their defense is down. You've built an emotional connection with them. They're more receptive to you. They're open to ideas, to suggestions. So there's a lot of different things you can do. If you're starting off in business, I suggest you try to do some kind of collaboration, or you go direct for the juggler. So pitch them on your high ticket program, right? And that should be something that's $3,000 and up. Preferably if you have a 10K program, sell that. But make sure that the value, is comprehensive and it's worth the 10K program. So the reason you want to do this is because you can cherry pick your audience. So if you are a coach that helps people to scale and grow their businesses, you can go after business owners that you go through their profiles, go through their content, and then determine if they're a good fit, right? And then you want to bring them onto the show. So after you've done that for a couple of different people, you'll start getting a swing of things in terms of like who's the best audience for you to go after. And then once that happens, you'll be able to build connections with those people. Hey, is there anybody else that you know that you can refer me to that I can have on my podcast? You would be able to close them into your program. Sometimes it's not necessarily about getting them into the program right then and now. Hey, can we do a IG live collaboration? Can we have a follow-up call a couple of weeks from now, right? How can I provide value to you, right? Can we do a email list, blast, swap, exchange, right? Can we do like a meetup in person, right? So like I had a Mastermind lunch about a month ago, and a lot of the people that I did podcasts with, they actually showed up. And it was pretty cool. It was great. But that's one way to nurture and build that relationship. So by utilizing the podcast, you have direct access to not only your target audience, but if you decide to, you can actually choose people who are on higher levels than you. And the reason you would want to do that, people who are like 7-figure, 8-figure entrepreneurs, people that have been in the industry 10, 20, 30 years and are very, very successful at what they're doing, is because you want to learn from them, right? You want to gain as much information, their hard fought experience, right? That they spent time and energy and trials and error and a whole bunch of money, right? And they persevered in order to get to where they're at. And imagine that you can have an interview with this person for an hour plus, maybe 45 minutes, 30 minutes, and soak up that knowledge, that game. So you can ask them about, what do you think I should do in these situations? How do you think I should maneuver in life? If it was you, how would you make these decisions, right? So you can begin to learn from them. Now, the compound effect is that may just be one person. But imagine if you do this with 10 people, with 20 people, with 40 people, with 50 people, right? You'll be able to elevate. There will be business connections, there will be deals, there will be all kinds of things that happen as a result of it. Guys, we all know business happens from conversations, right? And when people like you, when they feel like they know you, when they feel like they trust you, they're more apt to do business with you. So podcasting has completely changed my life. I remember I was in jail for about 5 months last year. And afterward, I did 3 months of early release, work release. And when I got out, I started podcasting a whole lot more, and I just started picking up clients because I said, hey, I do Facebook ads and I can do webinars. So people would get on the podcast. I would talk to them. I would honor them, ask them about their life, emotional questions. Like, I really showed genuine curiosity and compassion and care. And I would plant psychological seeds of, I remember something similar to what you said, and 1 year ago, we did this ads for this one guy and he made $50K, or, hey, yeah, we did this ad for this woman and she had so many clients that she had to tell us to stop. So you want to plant those psychological seeds. So for example, if you're a business coach, I would say, hey, yeah, we remember this one client, we took a look at her business and we were able to grow it by 30%, 40%. And now she's doing multi-millions. And before she was doing 6 figures. Right? So you want to see those things through the conversation, because the law of reciprocity, I don't know how to say it, but that law, right, of being able to just reciprocate is going to demand that at the end of the podcast, they're going to want to even ask you questions. What do you do? How can, what can we do next? Right? So these are some of the things that I think about. And guys, I've been able to build a business that's, almost close to $250,000. So that was all from the power of podcasting. I've been invited to conferences, investors, people who have paid $10K for the program and all kinds of different things. Another great thing is that you can now begin to kind of experiment. So what that means is that with your target audience, you can say something similar to, hey, I got this idea for this thing that I'm building and I would like to work with you and get it done. Or you can just let them know, like, hey, here's the thing, right? But you can see how your target audience reacts to it in real life and possibly set up an experiment or some kind of like business deal with them, right? And when you see it, you can see their facial reaction, right? You can see their tone, you can see their emotion, their energy. You were just talking to them for an hour. So there's some things that you kind of familiarize yourself with. So that's a great way to test out your products and see, and say, hey, as you go through those cycles of interviewing people, you want to start to kind of get a feel as to how to transition to the close at the end. Sometimes I'll ask for the sale right there after the podcast, but usually you want to plant the seeds and say, hey, let's do a discovery call, or like, hey, this is what I would do. I would love to help you because your story is so amazing and it's inspiring. I don't normally do this for people, but I can't wait to help and assist you. So now it goes from, oh, this person was just trying to, a lot of times nowadays, coaches and entrepreneurs, everybody's being flooded by these cold outreach DMs. Hey, you want 5 clients in the next 5 days? Like, and people are saying no to it. They're getting desensitized because there's no care, there's no connection, there's no emotion. It's just like a straight money grab. But with a podcast, you're doing quite the opposite, right? You're spending time with the person, and then you're transitioning into, man, I feel so passionate about your story. You know, in fact, I own an agency, I own a market. I would love to do something with you. Can we jump on the call real quick? Can I show you something? Right, man, your story inspired me so much, man. Let me pull up my screen and show you this thing that I do, right? So you could have a little deck, a little pitch PDF, and show it to them. But the reason why you would want to do something like that is because that transition is seamless. You've spent an hour kind of like upholding them and honoring them and asking them questions. So now when you present what it is that you do or how you would like to help them, their defense mechanisms and shields are so low. Basically, that sales resistance is almost gone, right? So guys, this is a great way to add on to your agency, add on to your business, new clients, but not just clients. When you think straight clients, you can lose out on a lot of the magic of podcasts. So for example, you can get invited to conferences, you can do joint ventures, you can do partnerships, you know, there's all kinds of things that can come out of it. So, but you won't really know that thing until you start getting into the rhythm of doing these, right? Because there's a lot of creativity that's involved towards the end. That person might not have the money for your program, but they might have like a huge email list of 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 people, and you might be able to set up some kind of event or do an email blast, something, you know, creative that still brings value to both people. That's another thing, guys. At the end of this, you kind of want to give value, right? So always seek to give value, even when you're asking for the sale. The way you would want to give value is like, I'm so passionate for this. I'm going to add this other thing in that I don't normally do, because your story about what happened to you when you were 18 years old really resonated with me deeply. So now they're like, man, this guy or girl is adding on a custom solution for me because they heard my story, they understand me, and now they're trying to give me this amazing bonus, this amazing custom solution that's going to help grow my business or take whatever aspect of my life that they say they can help me to the next level. So guys, you know, that's what I want to say is start your podcast now. It is literally like, some of the stuff I'm about to do with the podcast in the future is going to blow people's minds, but that's what it's able to accomplish. You can talk to anybody, football players, agency owners, business owners, entrepreneurs, right? Silicon Valley founders, right? The worst somebody will say to your podcast is either no or not right now. And you can still follow up in the future, you know, when things get better. Maybe you have better leverage, you've had more episodes, you had somebody famous on it, and now you're more welcome and wanted in the scene, right? So there's so many incredible things that come from this, guys. So I want you to go ahead and start your podcast. And in the comment section, if you're starting your podcast, I want you to comment the word podcast, right? And we might have something special for you guys, right? And again, guys, you can feel free to reach out to me on IG, you know, Tolu, TOLU.OWOYEMI. If you have any questions or anything like that, let's link up, let's discuss, man. Let's put some things out there. And more power to you all. Peace.